Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and welcome to our advanced salvage and familiar release guide. Now, this guide is a add-on to my last salvage guide, and in the last salvage guide, we did reference a table that was not necessarily mathematically accurate. So one of my viewers contacted me. His name is Lazel from Onyx Cancer Server, which is my server, and we had a wonderful conversation about cumulative probability and what it would actually look like when you are releasing familiars and salvaging equipment. And while a lot of the conversation was accurate in that salvaging guide, it wasn't necessarily mathematically able to show why we would do certain things or when you would do certain things. And so this video is to talk about what cumulative probability is. It's to talk about the different situations that we may find ourselves in, where the breakpoints are, and kind of what is going to lead us to make these decisions. Now, this is a very intense mathematical video. I am not a math expert. I'm basically explaining, and I'm going to use his words to explain to you. He will leave a comment down in the description pinned if you guys have any questions. And then, or if he has anything he wants to correct from me. And I will, of course, in my description down below, link this Excel spreadsheet for you guys. So let's go ahead and dig in. So I'm going to read his words for you guys because I think he's going to be best explaining it. And then I am going to try and summarize it. So there are many ways to understand and read this, but in the end, it pretty much all comes down to what resources you want to save. And this is a discussion that we've had in my previous video where we did talk about gold as a resource, right? How there may be an ideal place to release familiars if gold wasn't a barrier. But most of the time, a lot of players right now are favoring that gold. So the information in column M and N give you the number of awakened 0 familiars that you would need to guarantee said number of gummies. So this column right here is saying that, you know, if I have 2 gummies right here, we're going to take this row. If I want to guarantee 2 gummies, I would need to awaken 3, a familiar, and release it, right? That is the way to guarantee 2 gummies, right? Now, if I were to release them at 0 stars, it would require up to or more than 10 familiars. So this is the kind of, if you're given, you know, that probability to the 0 stars, it would require 10 of them in order to quote unquote guarantee 2 gummies. The information in column O and P give you the probability of obtaining a similar result using awaken 0 familiar only and saving on gold. So right here, that would be 76%. So we're going to go ahead and use the example following his words here. So referring to cell 07, that's the one that we have highlighted currently. You can state that you would have a 76% chance of getting 2 gummies at 0 gold cost, right? However, referring to the next table, the 10 right here, in order to guarantee having 2 gummies at 0 gold cost, you would need 10 awakened 0-star familiars. So you could get dumb lucky, right? If you release 6 familiars, you could get dumb lucky and be one of the 76% to actually get 2 gummies. However, to guarantee those gummies releasing 0-star familiars, and granted, it's not a guarantee, right? It's probability based. This is probability mathematics. You would need 10. Now, what's important about this data is that as we go down, this number decreases, right? So that means that the further awakening, basically, that you go, the less efficient it becomes to release familiars at 0 stars. So what does this information tell us right now? So in his opinion, for free-to-play whose main struggle is obtaining familiars, and since gold can be easily farmed, I would say it is crucial to go to a higher awakening. Now keep in mind, this is his opinion. For a whale that have an abundance of 3-star familiars, it would be more of a choice of whether or not they wish to gamble and save on gold. Now, another way to look at this information and to think about it is the most efficient point for awakening and releasing gummies is going to be at awakening 7, right? So we do have this column, number of guaranteed gummies / cumulative 3-star familiars required, right? And this is going to be the number of gummies basically per 3-star familiar that we get. Now, you want to do this at the most efficient point if you are worried about getting the most gummies, right? So if you assume that gold is not a limitation at all, Awakening 7 is actually going to be the best value for players. Now that would be 280,000 gold for a guaranteed 8 gummies. But again, that is the most efficient. And if you look at the release rate or the release chart for 0-star familiars, you would have a 58% chance to hit that, which is really low. And you would need upwards of 30 versus the 20 cumulative 3 stars that you have. So in the long run, if you are someone who is playing the game for a very long time, if gold is not an immediate resource that you need to have, it would be worth it to save these familiars and awaken them to 7 and then release them. Now, there is another breakpoint here, which I do want to talk about, and that is Awakening 3. Because a lot of people give the advice, and I myself have given this advice, to release familiars, to release 3-star familiars at Awakening 3. And the reason you see that is for a couple of reasons, and it's the jump from guaranteed gummies between a Awaken 2 and Awaken 3, right? 0.250 to 0.33 is one of the highest jumps that you see in terms of number of guaranteed gummies, right? Because you can see you still have 0.33 for Awakening 4 and Awakening 5. So you're still going to have the same gummy, quote unquote, efficiency, right? If you were to release at Awakening 3, as you would Awakening 4 and 5, unless you jump to 6. But if you're jumping to 6, you might as well jump to 7 because you gain a whole 0.67, right? And then you can see it kind of flatlines at 0.40 gummies. So all of this data is very interesting and it's very thought out. And I want to thank Lazel for reaching out to me and sharing this information because it really paints a picture of when it's going to be most efficient for you and when it's going to be most efficient in the long run. He did also expand some information with enhancing materials as well. The problem with enhancing materials is he didn't have all of the data, but he had enough to make some conclusions. So as you can see, the conclusions are even more exasperated with regards to the EM. So since the probability of obtaining the extra enhancement material from 0 awakened weapons, you would need even more weapons than 0 awakened familiars to be guaranteed enhancement materials. I sadly didn't have any other probabilities and guaranteed enhancement material stats for the higher awakening, but the debate was more around Awakening 0 versus Awakening 3 anyway, right? So taking a look at this chart, you can see it's a little interesting here. We have Awakening 3, and what you're going to see is in order to guarantee an enhancement material, you're going to need 6 3-star weapons, right? And that's going to be at a 0.167 here, which again is pretty low, right? I mean, just hopping back to the familiars, we're already at 0.33. So you're even going to get more gummies than you would be getting enhancement materials here. Now, if you come over here, you're going to have a 73% chance of being successful that way, but you may need up to 14, which is a huge difference. So for 84,000 gold, being able to release at Awakening 3, I'm not even sure it's 84,000. It might be 50,000. This gold value might be wrong here. I will double check this. But for this amount of gold, in order to guarantee this as opposed to this, releasing at Awakening 3 does seem to make sense for enhancing material. Now, I will give you his response here and what his opinion is. Now, that being said, in my mind, even as free-to-play, the debate of Awaken 3 versus Awaken 0 is not crystal clear, as both resources, weapon recipes and weapon crystals, can be farmed. I am currently at the gold wall right now in my progression, and he is free-to-play. And I've decided to take the 73% odds to save on gold cost. Later on, however, I feel like I will seek higher 4-star copies from crafting. Hence, weapon recipes may become my next wall in this case then. I will most likely opt for awakening them to secure enhancement material. So this is an example of how you can take the data that Lazel has generated and apply it to your own account. And this is how he has done that. So in my case, because gold is becoming not nearly as much of an issue for me anymore, I do plan to follow Lazel's advice, even though I'm a whale, and release at Awaken 3 now for my 4-star or for my 3-star equipment. Hopefully, again, guys, this helped you. It will have a link to the Excel spreadsheet in the description down below. And we will have Batabuce or Lazel leave a comment pinned just to correct anything that I might have missaid. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.